Thank you. If we could go on to the clock, please. Bearing in mind what you said, Mr. Mayor, about climate change and the climate crisis, why would you therefore not sign the plant-based treaty?
Chair, can I go to the answer I've prepared for your question?
I don't want the whole answer. I just want to know why you wouldn't.
Thank you, Chair. My understanding is that the plant-based treaty covers many sectors far beyond the legal competence of the Mayor of London, such as farming practices and marine ecosystems. I've been focused on taking action in areas where I have influence. This includes delivering the London Food Strategy, which outlines the importance of an equitable, resilient and climate-friendly food system. In London, our emissions are mainly from buildings and transport. In 2021, this made up 92% of our emissions, while agriculture, forestry and other land uses made up just 0.4%. That said, we do need to be looking at food waste, and we're aiming to reduce household food waste by 50% by 2030.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for that. It sounds like your briefing is pretty much the reply you sent to Assembly Member Polanski some while ago. It would have been nice to have had a reply to that, the question that I put to you. Now, this question I put to you will have its birthday next week. It's been almost a year since we've got a reply. Your colleagues in Lambeth don't seem to think that it is irrelevant to Lambeth. Many local authorities throughout the country, both urban and rural, have signed up to the plant-based treaty, and it is relevant to your remit because one of the things that needs to be in the London plan, as far as I'm concerned, bearing in mind that arguably London is the most vegan city on the planet, but one of the commitments in your London plan would be to move away from deforestation for the purposes of animal agriculture. You could put that in the plan. It wouldn't hurt you. It doesn't stop anybody having their bacon sandwich, and yet actually shows that you can have a commitment to addressing climate change, as 40 other major cities around the world have done. Now, why aren't you following their lead, Mr. Mayor?
So you first mentioned in your question, I'll deal with each part of your question at a time. The first part in your question was about London boroughs. So London boroughs have autonomy to purchase food for the buildings and services they provide. I do not have any powers to direct them in the way that they buy their food. In the example of schools, many borough councils in turn allow the individual schools the freedom to tender their catering contracts themselves.
Other cities, you're going through now details of things you can't do. There was a thing there I said you could do, which is feed the plant-based treaty into the London plan. Why are you? And that is within your power. Why are you not? Why, as your huge commitment to addressing the climate crisis, why can't you do that just on the London plan?
Can I just be clear? You're not the chair now, you're a member of the Assembly. I can answer the question how I want to answer it.
You can.
Right. In your question, you mentioned Lambeth. Lambeth is a London borough, and I was, in my answer, referring to the powers London boroughs have versus the powers that I don't have. You mentioned other cities in your question. They've got powers that I don't have, and that's why they've signed the plant-based treaty. I'm quite clear. I'm focused on taking action in the areas that I do have powers, and that's my focus.
Mr. Mayor, is it your position that you do not have the power to sign the plant-based treaty?
No, my answer is I'm focused on those things I've got power to control, but also most emissions in London come not from those plant-based, not come from the alternatives to plant-based food, but also the emissions that come from forestry and grown food is less than 1%.
Mr. Mayor, do you not feel that those people who are concerned about the climate crisis will consider your evasiveness as a demonstration of how it's all words and not really action?
Well, what I'd suggest that you do is let them know what the plant-based treaty is about. It focuses on 3 core principles and 39 proposals: relinquish, redirect and restore. In those areas that are within my power, we're doing that.
So it wouldn't hurt to sign the plant-based treaty, therefore. Anyway, we're not getting anywhere with here. I'll go back off the clock now.